Cape Buffalo, the power of wild Africa. Across a landscape reaching to the very edge of the horizon stands a creature counted among the five that make Africa. Proceed with caution. With no noise and no show, the Cape Buffalo enters the Savanna like a quiet declaration. This is a land it knows and governs in its own way. The most striking feature of the Cape Buffalo is its horns, curved like a horseshoe, widening to either side before shaping a formidable arc. At the center of the forehead, the dense horn plates merge into a boss, a natural armor perfected over millions of years. Even a fleeting look is enough to sense a strength that feels nearly immovable. In the morning light, the curve of its horns casts a cool, metallic glint. Yet the Cape Buffalo's power lies not in how it looks, but in what it represents. This is a species that does not depend on speed or claws to endure. It depends on resilience and on facing every challenge with a calm, grounded stance. The Savanna is never free of risk, yet the arrival of Cape Buffalo brings an added tension that's difficult to define. They do not demand attention, but each step quietly alters the land's rhythm. The Savanna appears to adjust itself, yielding space to their movement. In a land where each day delivers challenges, from searing heat to nature's unexpected turns, there is a species that requires no claws, yet causes the whole Savanna to proceed with caution. With its powerful presence and horns that embody resilience, the Cape Buffalo emerges as an icon of silent authority, a strength that does not seek attention, but is invariably respected. Within the seeming stillness of the Savanna at noon, the Cape Buffalo herd advances gradually into the ocean of golden grass. There is no obvious sign of what is coming, just a change in the wind and a few blades bending gently. But to those attuned to the breathing rhythm of this land, that small shift is enough to alter the mood of the space. Something out of the ordinary is slowly emerging. In the shimmer of heat lifting from the ground, a faint motion glides along the grass line. So subtle it seems like the wind's own shadow. The Cape Buffalo herd stops in unison. Several of the largest move ahead, dipping their heads until the curved horns draw nearer to the soil. No sound breaks the air, but tension radiates in unseen waves. Red dust lifts in waves as the Cape buffalo drive forward with the combined force of the herd. The lions answer with quick, accurate advances, sweeping around like golden flashes across the grassland. The earth quivers softly under both sets of footsteps, each motion firm and purposeful. The savanna ignites in a contest of resolve and resilience. Amid the spinning veil of dust that softens the horizon, the biggest buffalo surge ahead, shaping a firm spearhead that forces back the closing circle. The lions change direction, seeking fresh gaps, their low, agile strides gliding over the warm earth. Both sides continue to adjust and counter, neither prepared to give way, leaving the savanna taut like a drum skin before the moment of decision. As the red dust drifts back to the ground, the balance at last leans one way. The Cape buffalo maintain their formation and advance, pushing the golden figures back into the far grasslands. There is no victorious roar, only the straight, resolute beat of buffalo hooves. The savanna resumes its gentle breathing, marking once more the enduring strength that has held its ground. The Cape buffalo's strength is not just a matter of size, but of a physique shaped to endure and to confront challenge. A wide chest, sturdy legs, and heavy mass enable it to apply powerful pressure that can shift the savanna's rhythm. This is the foundation that allows buffalo to hold the advantage in moments of tension. The Cape buffalo's resolve is most evident in how they confront risk. There is no panic and no disorder. The herd comes together at once, forming a single body with coordination that feels almost instinctive. It is this sense of unity that has helped them overcome countless trials on the wide savanna. What gives Cape buffalo their standing on the savanna is their ability to react with flexibility in every circumstance. When it is time to move forward, they advance with strength. When it is time to hold ground, they stand like pillars. This sense of initiative forces predators to remain wary, considering every step they take. Steadfastness is woven into every movement of the Cape buffalo. However great the pressure, they retain a rare sense of calm. This unwillingness to yield has seen them through countless challenges, establishing them as one of Africa's most formidable forces and giving them an essential role in sustaining the balance of the savanna ecosystem. The temperament of Cape buffalo keeps the savanna wary. The Daga boys that live away from the herd are particularly hard to read, showing little warning before they respond. When paths cross on a narrow trail, one misplaced look can shift the atmosphere. Small head motions, forceful breathing, and rigid muscle-held postures hint at a tension that may rise at any time. On a dry, open patch of ground, two Daga boys meet without warning, tension rising like a cord drawn taut. A single step too near, and both dip their heads, pressing in with the full weight of their frames. The collision carries across the grassland, red dust lifting to soften the horizon. Neither gives way. Every forceful shove measures who deserves to continue along that shared path. At last, the two Daga boys gradually separate, breaths still deep but tension fading from their gaze. There is no victor and no defeat, only boundaries gently re-established between resolute individuals. One veers away, while the other carries on along its chosen path. The savanna settles back into its familiar breathing rhythm, as though the confrontation were merely a natural moment within this wild land. Remarkable endurance is what allows Cape buffalo to remain steady through the most demanding challenges. They can reach speeds of up to 50 kilometers per hour, holding a consistent pace despite bodies weighing hundreds of kilos. When force is needed, their entire weight moves forward, strong enough to alter the balance of an encounter. For this reason, Cape buffalo are creatures that even apex predators pause to consider before drawing close. While many species on the savanna undertake long migrations and confront endless challenges, Cape buffalo shift only as the land requires, without sweeping journeys across vast distances. To them, rivers are a familiar test, where ancient power lies concealed beneath cloudy water, patiently awaiting its moment. As the late sun pours across the soft riverbank, the Cape buffalo herd fans out in a calm, measured rhythm. The last golden light of day settles on their sturdy frames, bringing forward the quiet composure that has guided them throughout. Dry grass whispers in the wind, and the herd returns to its familiar way of life, peaceful and grounded, echoing the very nature of the savanna. Each Cape buffalo feels like one fragment in a tapestry of strength that nature has patiently shaped over thousands of years. They do not seek attention, nor do they need to display authority. Simply standing amid the ocean of grass, their presence is enough to make the savanna alter its breathing, granting this species a respect that is deep, quiet, and complete. In the wild, where the boundary between safety and challenge is always delicate, the Cape buffalo maintains its position as one of Africa's 5 most dangerous animals. not through speed or offensive skill, but through resilience, unpredictability, and a readiness to face any pressure without wavering. As twilight falls across the savanna, the Cape buffalo herd departs the riverbank with composed strides. Their story is not simply one of surviving peril, but a testament to the lasting strength carried within tranquility. And it is this quiet resolve that makes the Cape buffalo a symbol of silent authority in Africa's wild landscape. India, where the forests fold in like an ancient curtain, casting across the earth a layer of shadow, deep and full of life. In that space, a quiet motion glides through the leaves, gentle as breath, yet bearing the weight of something concealed. The usual sounds appear to hold back, and the forest settles into a moment charged with anticipation and mystery. The forests of South Asia are not merely darkness and trees. They form a living maze, where sambar deer tread softly, as though aware of something unseen. 3 wild buffalo raise their heads to catch strange sounds. Langur monkeys stand guard in the canopy, and innumerable small creatures shift beneath the leaf litter. Every forest layer functions like a refined empire, sustaining the ancient breathing rhythm of nature. From cold streams winding through bamboo forests to valleys tucked behind rocky hills, South Asia's wilderness opens into a vast realm where every inch belongs to a silent ruler. Each tree, each tuft of grass is marked by scent from passing patrols. In this apparent stillness, every movement carries both opportunity and danger, poised to be resolved. In the depths of the forest, the tiger does not depend on speed like a cheetah, nor on pack strategy like wild dogs. Its strength lies in complete silence. Each step is set down as though it can sense the prey's heartbeat. The tiger succeeds by leaving its rival unaware of what has just unfolded. The tiger's strength is not found in muscle alone. It watches, committing to memory every pathway, every current of wind, every herd that moves through. The tiger understands the forest as the forest understands it. Every hunt becomes a strategic puzzle, and patience is the weapon that makes it a silent ruler. Inside the silence the tiger controls, a coarse sound breaks from the lower leaves. earth being disturbed, labored breaths. Then a dark gray form comes into view. A sloth bear, the only creature in this forest daring enough not to step aside for a tiger. Two paths crossing by coincidence. In a sunburnt clearing where red dust blankets the ground, two powers collide by chance. The tiger launches like a flash of lightning, predatory instinct steering every move. The sloth bear startles, wheels around, and races for the sparse shade of the forest edge. It does not seek confrontation, only space to keep its own corner of woodland. In that moment, the whole landscape appears to still, as if the land itself were holding its breath. Dust whirls into the air as the two rivals draw close, both unleashing strong, purposeful motions. The sloth bear applies pressure, while the tiger remains agile, waiting for an opening. Growls and roars drift with the warm wind, transforming the clearing into a place where resolve and the boundaries of survival instinct are revealed. As the red dust continues to hover above the ground, another dark form suddenly charges in, entering the scene with determined intent. Two sloth bears unite, building a powerful pressure that tilts the balance. Realizing it no longer holds the advantage, the tiger withdraws wisely, slipping along the fringe of golden grass and escaping the closing ring. Against the golden grass, still unsettled by the short confrontation, the tiger stops in the shade and glances back at the clearing behind. Not a failure, but the decision of one who understands the worth of strength and time. In the deep forest, survival favors those who know when to pause, so they may carry on their journey. Although it lives mostly in forests, the tiger is one of the planet's finest swimming big cats. It slips through the water like a deliberate current, eyes set on the opposite bank, selecting the safest path forward. Deep pools can at times offer an advantage, enabling the tiger to extend its range without direct confrontation. Few realize that tigers have highly sophisticated spatial memory. They remember every broken log, every stand of bamboo, every pathway they have taken. When the forest shifts after the rains, the tiger still finds its former routes, as though guided by a map in its mind. Through this, it understands every advantage of the land it inhabits. The forest may sound chaotic, yet to the tiger it all follows a quiet order. It can detect the steps of a small animal beneath fallen leaves, or the soft breath of a creature concealed behind the trees. This exceptional talent for filtering sound enables the tiger to decide swiftly, without needing to see what waits in front. The tiger does not communicate with sound, but with scent. Rather than carving claw marks, it often rests beneath a tree, allowing its body scent to sink into the coarse bark. These scent traces form a quiet communication line through the forest, enabling individuals to avoid needless confrontation and allowing the ecosystem to function in its natural balance. Despite its fierce reputation, the tiger is calm for most of its life. It does not squander energy on needless pursuits. The tiger can sit for hours beside the riverbank, observing the forest as it shifts at a gentle pace. This steadiness is the key that allows it to judge risk, preserve strength, and endure through even the toughest seasons. In a forest that feels without end, there are unseen borders only the tiger can perceive. A strange scent emerges on the bark, newer and deeper than before. It is not a cautious probe, but a statement from another presence advancing towards the center of the territory. The forest's tranquility slowly changes tone. Two solitary beings, each driven by the instinct to protect their ground, move closer with every stir of the wind. A fleeting change in the wind is all it takes to release tensions long contained. Both tigers rush forward at once, not to cause injury, but to gauge strength and confirm their standing in this forest. The ground quivers softly with each shove, each forceful yet measured motion, like two streams of energy exploring each. Among the spiraling movements of two orange-striped forms, a sudden stillness appears. One tiger slows, not out of weakness, but from sensing the advantage leaning away. Its eyes change, resolve retreating to make room for clarity. In the forest, bravery is not only about pressing on, but about knowing when to soften the pressure, to prevent a drawn-out encounter that goes further than intended. As the tension fades into the wind, one tiger retreats, turning towards the thick bamboo forest and leaving the clearing for its rival to keep. There is no victor or defeat, only a decision guided by timing. In a world where every step is bound to survival, power does not always come from taking ground, but from the ability to remain clear-minded through nature's challenges. As the two tigers separate, quiet gradually settles back over the canopy. Shafts of sunlight slip through the leaves, illuminating dust that still hangs in the air. Familiar sounds return. Woodland birds, leaves moving softly in the wind. The encounter fades into a brief instant within a much wider rhythm of life. The forest is not ruled by tigers alone. It shelters countless other lives. Langurs observe from the canopy. Sambar herds tread carefully along the woodland edge. And tiny creatures beneath the fallen leaves continue their quiet labor. Everything exists in a delicate balance, where each species plays a vital part. The tiger may sit at the summit of the hunting chain, yet it is not the focus of all motion. As it bends to drink from the shallow stream, the surface ripples softly before returning to stillness. A frightened bird takes flight. All other movements carry on, as though the forest had paused for a moment, simply to witness the encounter. From the largest animal to the smallest creature, all are linked by delicate relationships that are difficult to see with the naked eye. Tigers prevent grazing herds from becoming excessive. Young growth gains space to emerge, and streams are safeguarded from erosion. Lose one species, and the whole forest starts to shift. As twilight falls across the canopy, the tiger moves along the trail like the last shadow of the day. In each step lies stillness, quiet pride, and an invisible responsibility placed by nature. The forest survives through these shared rhythms of breath. And in this constantly shifting world, the tiger is not merely a predator, but a symbol of the balance that nature seeks to hold. Giant otter, the mysterious power of the wild Amazon. Amid the winding bends of the Amazon, where red mud blends into murky water and the forest echoes like an ancient breath, the giant otter appears as a smooth glide through the chaos. Not the largest or most fearsome creature, but the only one that knows how to turn the entire river into a place of absolute belonging. Their home is not just the surface of the water. It is a living maze where caiman crocodiles lurk in the shade. Jaguars patrol the riverbanks. Large shoals of fish hide in the muddy depths, and countless other creatures compete for every patch of space. Within this ecosystem of contrasts, giant otters survive through alertness, agility, and a rare sense of unity. From above, the Amazon looks like a silent ribbon, But beneath the surface lies a world where strength and strategy constantly collide. And it is here that giant otters prove their place. Small, yet strangely powerful. They move to their own rhythm, read every current, and live among giants without ever losing their identity. In giant otters, strength does not lie in muscle, but in how they observe the world. Every small ripple on the surface, every change in the current is registered through sharp eyes and sensitive whiskers. They are not rulers, yet they understand the Amazon better than most of the larger creatures that live within it. Their instinct is built on memory and coordination. Within the group, no individual acts alone. They divide roles among themselves. Pathfinders, deep divers, shoreline watchers, all blending into a single, unified rhythm of movement. Through this, giant otters do not merely survive, they turn the river into a space they control through strategy. In the quiet river bends that appear harmless, the Amazon always hides something waiting. Beneath the murky blend of water and mud, a long shadow begins to move, discreet yet unhurried. The caiman never rushes. It waits for the slightest lapse in awareness, a small break in swimming rhythm, to turn stillness into opportunity. The giant otter does not see the ambush, but senses it in its own way. A faint vibration beneath the mud, a current shifting against its usual pattern, or the sudden silence of small fish. It glides sharply to one side, while others, just entering the water, scramble back onto the bank, as if sensing something only long-seasoned survivors can understand. But this time, the threat feels different. The water behind darkens, as though a shadow is peeling itself away from the river. The caiman moves at the exact moment the otter turns its back, enough to close the distance in just a few beats. In that compressed pocket of water, both creatures understand that a trial is about to begin. Instinct against absolute precision. The moment the caiman surges out of the dark water, the otter does not panic. It pivots in a sharp glide, like a clean cut through the current, letting the predator's strike slip past by inches. Silence is torn open by a powerful surge, as though the entire river is holding its breath, waiting for the next move from these two opposing creatures. Instead of fleeing in a straight line, the otter dives deep and resurfaces at an unexpected angle, forcing the caiman to twist its entire body through the heavy water. The space between them tightens, every movement a calculated gamble. Here, Speed matters less than the ability to read an opponent's mistakes, and the otter grasps this first. In the water that has lost its initial swirl, the caiman gradually slows. Not because it is overpowered, but because of endurance and coordination beyond its expectations. Its final movements grow heavy, as if dragged down by its own miscalculation. As that dark shadow sinks back into the silent mud, the river closes the trial with a stillness free of roars. When the river settles, the otter group forms a gentle swirl around the stretch of water that has just endured the trial. There is no celebration, only a quiet use of the nourishment nature leaves behind after the encounter. Each individual takes its share, distributing it in their familiar rhythm, a fitting reward for the strategy and unity that have just safeguarded the entire group. Before they can fully savor the reward, at the edge of the brush, a golden shape dotted with black stands, motionless like a statue. The jaguar has been watching the entire encounter since before the muddy water had time to settle. It analyzes every movement with the cold patience of an apex predator. It does not rush in, does not disturb the surface. It simply waits in silence for the right moment to enter the story. The jaguar moves in quietly, each step placed on dry leaves without a sound. It knows that confronting the entire group head-on would be pointless. What it wants is what remains of the river, a game that requires no struggle. And through precise calculation, it chooses the exact moment when the otters no longer need to defend anything. Sensing the large shadow stepping onto the riverbank, the otter group shows no defiance. They subtly tighten their formation, then glide together into safer water, smooth as silk, slipping off a lake's surface. Not fear, but the wisdom of a species that understands its limits. For them, the safety of the group always matters more than any remaining meal. The jaguar does not need to display power to prove its status. Its strength lies in deliberate silence, in the way it reads every movement of the river as though revisiting an old story. It does not hunt on sudden impulse, but through the cold calculation of a species that understands true victory comes from a precise decision, not from noisy charges. Giant otters possess bodies fully designed for life in water. Their fur is waterproof, trapping a layer of warm air against the skin to retain heat at every depth. Their long, streamlined shape reduces drag, while the powerful tail works like a natural rudder. Because of this, they maneuver through water faster than predators many times their size. Behind that agility lies a refined mind. Otters remember every channel, every swirling current, every shallow or deep, muddy stretch. When danger arrives, they use that memory like an escape map. This intelligence is not flashy, yet it is enough to make predators think twice whenever they track them. What sets otters apart is not strength, but how they communicate. With just sharp chirps and short whistles, the entire group understands one another perfectly. While hunting, they split directions like branching currents, then reunite. When facing predators, they move in tight formations, leaving any opponent confused by such precise synchrony. Otters are not just residents of the river. They are a keystone that keeps the entire ecosystem in rhythm. By controlling the numbers of predatory fish, they help maintain balance below the surface. Their tracks and activity zones create shelter for many smaller fish. Wherever otters are present, the river becomes cleaner, healthier, and more alive. Amid the murky water drifting with the current, the giant otter suddenly accelerates. It bends its body like living silk, weaving through algae and dark pockets where fish hide. Its whiskers quiver, locking onto the prey's path before the eyes even see it. Every movement is crisp, like a rhythm already calculated in its mind. As the fish's final flick ripples the surface, the otter rises with its reward held neatly in its mouth. It does not keep it for itself, instead swimming straight back to the group, where soft chirps blend into a familiar welcome. The meal is divided into small portions, following the simple rhythm that has bound the family together across generations. Within the complex web of the Amazon, giant otters are a vital link that keeps the river from tipping into chaos. They regulate predatory fish populations, create space for smaller species to thrive, and help keep the water moving in a healthy flow. Their presence is a sign of a river that is strong and full of life. And as the water's shadows close behind the otter group's final movements, the Amazon returns to its familiar rhythm. Yet their journey leaves a profound reminder. In this vast world, the greatest strength is not domination, but knowing how to adapt, how to connect, and how to live in harmony with the flow. A story that continues deep within the endless forest. Wild dogs, the underdog that makes the entire savanna think twice. Amid a world of roars, heavy footsteps, and unending struggles, its arrival feels like a different kind of breath. Slender, light, almost blending into the grass. Yet it is precisely that silence that makes every gaze pause. A creature that does not need to declare power. Just a quick glance is enough to confirm it as a master of precision and surprise. Large ears stand upright, listening for the smallest vibrations in the wind. Bright eyes reflect a quiet intelligence, as if they understand the ground beneath their feet. They do not make the savanna tremble with roars, but with a presence as light as the wind drifting across the open grasslands. They do not possess overwhelming strength. They do not have superior speed, nor do they carry sharp weapons like many other predators. Yet within every slender stride lies a different kind of power, a quiet strength that reveals itself only when necessary. That is the African wild dog. Individuals that appear fragile at first carry within them the secret of perfect harmony, a kind of power that does not need to roar to make the savanna think twice. They do not dominate with muscle, but with a spirit of unity that earns nature's respect. As the sun rises higher, heavy footsteps echo across the grasslands. Hyenas appear, their gait stiff, their eyes scanning the ground as though weighing every opportunity. Their distinctive harsh laughter carries over the dry mounds, signaling that they believe they are about to claim a share of the spoils. As they draw nearer, the hyenas realize there is nothing for them to force their way into. The wild dog pack has nothing to offer. No sign of a meal, no scent of fresh meat, only a group of hunters pausing, arranged in a neat and unified formation. Yet they have already come this far, pulled in by the momentum of curiosity and expectation. And now they cannot simply turn away. The distance is too close. Eyes have already met, and their presence forces both sides to face the moment. No roars, no collision, only two opposing forces, silent yet taut, like drawn strings. A single misstep could turn the balance, tightening the air to the point of breathlessness. But at the height of that tension, the hyenas falter. Confronted by the unshakable calm of the wild dog pack, they turn and retreat in silence. After that tense moment, the wild dog pack gradually disperses, moving as lightly as water flowing across the grass. No need for victory, no need for display. Their calm says everything. The savanna understands. Some forms of strength are not found in roars, but in the ability to keep order within themselves. Their mottled coats glow in the fresh sunlight, each individual carrying a unique pattern. Like pieces of a mosaic, nature has deliberately arranged. Their large ears continue to turn towards even the faintest sounds, making the wild dog pack seem almost impossible to catch off guard. Every movement is light, yet intensely deliberate. Their running form is slender, yet enduring. A single wild dog can maintain a steady pace for tens of kilometers without exhaustion, an evolutionary gift that helps them survive across the vast savanna. Not powerful in muscle, but strong in perseverance, strong in long, steady breaths, like the quiet pulse of the earth beneath their feet. Within the pack, there is no absolute leader, no dominant ruler, no one made to bow. They operate through subtle signals, a brush of shoulders, a glance, a soft whine meant only for one another. Every individual understands their place, and together they form a unified whole, stronger than any single force. That bond is not only for facing hyenas, but for facing the challenging world of the savanna itself. The true strength of wild dogs does not lie in their size, but in perfect harmony, a weapon that makes even the largest predators think twice. After a demanding morning, the savanna begins to shift under the increasingly intense sun. The wild dog pack continues its journey, footsteps light yet decisive, ears constantly scanning the space for signals other species cannot sense. Within that calm lies a strategic instinct, always ready to awaken when the rhythm of land and sky changes. A breeze sweeps across the grasslands, carrying faint signals, just enough to make the wild dog pack lift their heads in unison. In the distance, a large antelope herd moves slowly, powerful yet scattered with each step. Hunger sharpens their focus, unhurried, simply recognizing that an opportunity is opening before them. The wild dog pack spreads out, forming a fluid arc like ripples moving across the grass. The antelope grow alert, yet within their heavy steps, there remains a narrow gap. The wind shifts, carrying their scent more clearly. The pack begins to accelerate in rhythm, forcing the antelope towards an unfavorable direction. The tension peaks as the arc of the wild dog pack closes into a complete curve. One antelope slips out of rhythm for a brief moment, and that is all they need. Without noise, the pack moves in together, holding their running tempo until the antelope has no escape. The savanna settles, marking a successful hunt through perfect coordination. When the chase comes to an end, the wild dog pack takes turns sharing the reward. They do not see failure or success as a final stop, because for wild dogs, every journey contributes to the balance of the savanna. Their quiet presence helps keep grazing herds moving at a steady, healthy rhythm. Their slender footsteps moving across the grass create small openings, where insects and smaller creatures find shelter or a chance to escape the dense cover. Every movement of the wild dog pack, even an ordinary daily journey, adds another link to the smooth operation of the savanna, where all life is connected within a delicate cycle of motion. Not only do they affect the ground itself, they also influence the distribution of many grazing species. The constant movement of wild dog packs forces antelope and impala to change their routes, helping prevent overgrazing. That rotation gives the savanna a chance to recover after each harsh dry season. Wild dogs do not possess absolute power, yet they shape the savanna in their own way. They force other predators to adjust their strategies, while also preventing any single grazing species from growing out of balance. Because of them, nature's cycle is held at a harmonious edge between excess and scarcity. In every quiet movement, we see the profound role wild dogs play in this land. They do not claim the spotlight, nor do they seek power. They simply live true to their nature, and in doing so, quietly create order across a vast ecosystem. The savanna is grateful for that presence, even when it is felt only as a gentle breeze. The afternoon wind drifts gently across the sea of golden grass, carrying a soft rustle like the savanna's ancient whisper. The wild dog pack lies scattered at rest, yet their eyes remain half open, tracking every small movement around them. That vigilance is not born of anxiety, but of instinct, sharpened across generations to survive in a world that never stops changing. In the fiery glow of sunset, the wild dog pack moves on, leaving behind fading footprints in the warm earth. Their story has no clear ending, because life here never truly stops. Yet every step the pack takes is a reminder that unity, endurance, and harmony with nature are the strengths that carry them forward, continuing the savanna's endless journey.